Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another 40k video from the Lost Primarch. And the title of this video is, What's Inside the Dark Cells Beneath the Imperial Palace? I heard to be a guard for the Dark Cells, custodians have to go through some insane training. I don't remember what it is. I think one of them is they have to fight like a bloodletter with no armor and no weapons. I think they have to inhale Nurgle's aroma and not get sick. I can't remember what Tzeentch and Slaanesh they had to do. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was they had to endure like Tzeentch's lies or something like that, and I thought like Slaanesh they had to like have like a staring contest and like don't blink or something like that, or maybe that's Tzeentch, you know, trying to like stare at all Tzeentch's eyes and stuff like that and not blink. But it's some insane like training and stuff like that just to be a guard for whatever is in the Dark Cells, which I don't know, I've heard insane monsters, insane demons, possibly some crazy weaponry and technology. I've even heard maybe one of the Lost Primarchs is locked away down there. No idea. No idea. So anyways, let's get on to the video and find out what is in the Dark Cells below the Imperial Palace. Here we go.
There is
Only war. Alright, let's turn this up a little bit more.
Hello, nerd.
Ooh, let's turn
the
that down
Dark
a little bit
Cells
more.
have always been a point of interest to everyone, because that is one of the greatest Warhammer 40,000 mysteries out there, and the wet dream of Trazen the Infinite. What eldritch secrets lie beneath the Imperial Palace? Are those weapons from the Dark Age of technology, or maybe entities that are imprisoned, more valuable alive than dead, or even impossible
wonder
to
how they
kill?
got captured.
Well, while we don't necessarily have precise descriptions of everything that is within these vaults or cells, we do have names of some of these things and even brief descriptions of how they were obtained and stored away.
Oh,
but
okay.
to truly look at them, we first need to understand the guardians of these
Trazen being like,
dark
"Can I take a
cells,
peek,
because
please?"
they are no ordinary custodians. These guys are even above their brethren in their resilience, and they are called the Shadow Keepers. They are not
Shadow
merely
Keepers.
an elite subset of the Adeptus Custodes. They represent the Imperium's ultimate bulwark against the most insidious and apocalyptic threats in existence. The recruitment process to join this exclusive shield host is a grueling ordeal designed to test every facet of a custodian's physical, mental, and spiritual fortitude. Given
I mean, it
their
would be
roles
kinda cool
as the
to be one of
guardians of the
those to
Dark
see
Cells,
what-
the process demands nothing less than
What it is they're
perfection.
guarding?
Each potential recruit must demonstrate their ability to withstand the direct influence of the ruinous powers, a
here we
feat
go.
that would shatter even the most space marines. The trials are carefully constructed to confront the aspirants with the essence of each Chaos God, forcing them to endure and overcome the most harrowing tests imaginable. In the trial dedicated to Khorne, a recruit must engage a Khornate demon in unarmed combat. Stripped of their weapons and armor, the custodian faces a being of pure rage and unrelenting violence. This test is not merely about physical strength, but also discipline, resisting the primal urge to succumb to rage and matching the demon's fury with calculated skill and endurance. Wrestling such an entity requires the aspirant to prove that they can channel their raw power without losing control, a crucial trait for
so
those
it's not
tasked
just
with
about beating
guarding
it,
the
it's
most
about
dangerous
not
beings in
giving into
existence.
the rage.
The trial of Tzeentch, the Chaos God of Change, is a test of mental resilience. The recruit must stare directly into the eyes of a Tzeentchian demon, a creature of ever-shifting forms and maddening whispers without blinking for a day and night. This test exposes the custodian to a relentless assault of psychic manipulation, hallucinations, and visions of alternate realities. Success requires not just the ability to resist the demon's lies, but also the fortitude to retain their identity and purpose despite the endless flow of deceit. For Nurgle, the test is one of physical and spiritual endurance. The recruit is placed in the presence of a Nurgle demon, forced to breathe its fumes for 3 hours straight without asking for aid, and to endure its pestilent aura and the grotesque manifestations of its influence. The air becomes thick with disease, and the body begins to falter under the oppressive weight of corruption. The aspirant must resist the temptations to give in to despair and decay, enduring the trial with unshakable resolve while maintaining their devotion to the Emperor. In the test of Slaanesh, the recruit is subjected to the whispers of Slaaneshi demon, its voice offering promises of pleasure, power, and forbidden knowledge for an entire day. The trial is not merely about resisting temptation, but also about maintaining focus and clarity amidst the overwhelming sensory assault. The custodian must reject the demon's allure without faltering, proving that their loyalty to the Emperor is absolute. Each of these trials is not simply a test of survival. It is a crucible that forges the recruit into a being capable of standing against the worst horrors the galaxy has to offer. By facing these demons directly, the aspirants gain invaluable insight into the nature of chaos, an understanding that allows them to guard the dark cells with unparalleled vigilance. Those who pass these grueling tests are not just warriors, they are unbreakable. They emerge as shadow keepers, custodians who have stared into the abyss and refuse to blink. Their role demands this level of resilience, as the dark cells are not merely a prison, but a constant battlefield where vigilance, discipline, and strength are the only things standing between the Imperium and annihilation. The Shadow Keepers are led by the Lock Warden, the title given to a shield captain who commands this shield host. The Lock Warden must be the toughest and most vigilant of all custodians, always watchful and uncompromising. They personally oversee any operations involving breaches or the imprisonment of new threats in the dark cells. The current Lock Warden, Shield Captain Borska Tursk, embodies these traits and has faithfully served in this role for over 150 years. I also have a strong belief that such positions, meaning being a Shadow Keeper, since it requires the peak performance of Custodes, possibly have the most rotations. My rationale is that while we see them as lightning-fast demigods, for themselves they do notice when they start slowing down. And while for us it could be a fraction of a millisecond, for them that's just another weakness that enemies could exploit. So it is reasonable to think that Shadow Keepers are constantly trained and changed to always be at their peak performance. And now that we understand how serious is the job of keeping dark cells secured, I think it is time that we finally look at all their contents.
The gate is open.
The Slithering Dreamer was some type of a entity that escaped from the dark cells, and it met a swift and lethal end at the hands of a Shadow Keeper on Tarnus 4. The fact that it managed to wriggle out of one of the galaxy's most secure prisons say a lot about both its power and abilities. The name suggests something slimy, possibly shape-shifting, and probably as unpleasant to look at as it was to kill. Now, I actually want to connect a dot here. Do you remember those aliens that Fulgrim encountered? They were called Laer, and they had snake-like bodies, and when Fulgrim first encountered them, he understood that these Xenos were obsessed with perfection. When entering their Slaanesh worship temple, they found them in a deep trance-like state, and for them, death was the ultimate pleasure. But, point in case, they were Slaanesh worshippers, had snake-like bodies, and were in a deep trance, like they were dreaming. So, what if there could be a tendency for specimens of these Xeno species that were wiped out to be brought back to Terra and locked away, for various reasons obviously, either for studying their anatomy or just purely as trophies, but I do believe that is reasonable to think that way. But then again, how can some Xeno specimen escape dark cells? Maybe there was some glitch in the entire security system, or maybe it wasn't a Xenos at all, but a demon, definitely of Slaanesh. I guess for the time being, it would be wiser to lock such an entity away than just kill it and allow it to come back, as every demon does. Well, at least we narrowed it down to two possibilities. Then there is an item called the Black Periapt of Right and Yield, which is an artifact that screams, "Do not touch." A period is typically an amulet, but given its imprisonment, this one likely doesn't bring good luck. Its name hints at Xeno's origins, possibly an Eldar relic or some ancient talisman that amplifies psychic power in a way that melts your brain if you're nearby. Though I have to admit, it is mentioned to be originating from the Dark Age of technology. Still, it doesn't cancel out the possibility that it can be Xeno's in nature. It is the kind of thing someone like Magnus would sell his other eye for, which is precisely why it's locked away. Then there is an entity called It That Craves, which is as horrifying as its name suggests. This entity seems to embody hunger or desire. It might very well be a shard of Catan, given the striking parallels between its implied nature and the infamous hunger of the Catan. These star-eating, godlike beings that were shattered into fragments during the war in heaven are defined by their insatiable appetites. While most known Catan consumed stars or raw energy, it is known that they also fed on Necron souls, and if Necrons imprisoned shards of their own gods, then I wouldn't be surprised if somehow the Emperor got his hands on one. Another entity which resides within the Dark Cells is called the One of the Fel. Word Fel often refers to something corrupted, destructive, and prone to ruin your day. This might be a demon of particular power, or a mortal whose dabbling in chaos turned them into something far worse. Either way, it's the kind of a thing that you want behind several layers of psychic wards, and preferably far away from public eyes. Then there is another artifact called the Tree Blight Amulet that has a name that just screams Plague Bomb. You know, because when you look at the Nurgle symbol, it becomes evident what exactly we are talking about. It probably spreads disease, corruption, and existential dread in equal measure, or it might simply radiate bad vibes so strongly that entire planets start falling apart. If it's a Xeno's relic, it might have been a biological weapon of some extinct race, emphasis on extinct, since this thing likely had a hand in that outcome.
Seems like there's some stuff you
called
don't
the Vexen
want,
Cage is another thing from the Dark Cells.
Or under
it works
the
as a psychic amplifier, and it subjugates thousands of minds at once.
Ever happens.
This could be an ancient Xeno's tech, or worse, a leftover toy from the humanity's Dark Age of technology, when we built all sorts of terrible things before collectively forgetting how they worked. Imagine a megaphone that enslaves entire cities. That's the Vexen Cage, and it's probably better that no one ever picks it up again. What we do know for a fact is that there's a demon imprisoned within Dark Cells called Soul Delver. Now let me be clear, I actually believe this is the demon of Zeech, and it is used for Shadowkeeper recruitment. The name and the recruitment part where a custodian has to stare into demon's eyes, allowing it to delve into his soul, matches perfectly. Also, to strengthen this theory even more, I'm able to provide you with the names of other demons used for the recruitment process. Of course, not outright explained, but come on. Logical reasoning is what we value in this channel. Eight of the Skull is the name of Cornet demon that the Shadowkeepers have to wrestle. The demon of Nurgle is called Sevenfold Trimiasma, and the Slanesh demon is called Granter of All Six Wishes. Also, it all symbolizes the numbers of each Chaos God. As you can notice, the demon of Zeech and the number 9 is missing, thus the reasoning. Another entity, only known as the Sorrow of Caracalla, is within the Dark Cells beneath Terra. This haunting presence, known for spreading despair across the stars, was finally captured in the late 41st millennia. Shadowkeeper Arian Porphyrius personally subdued the creature, bringing it to the Dark Cells in chains, fortified with powerful wards to contain its malevolence. There's nothing else to know about this entity, since most of them are described cryptically at best. The Chalice of Dark Alabaster is one of those relics that was actually stolen from the Dark Cells during the Battle of Lion's Gate. Shadowkeeper Arian once set out on a mission to recover it, which led him to the Maelstrom. There he discovered that the Chalice was in the hands of the Astroclaws Warband, a group of Chaos Space Marines. Arian launched an attack on the traitors, however the Warband fled into the Great Rift to escape his pursuit. Refusing to abandon his duty, he followed them in. Since then, no word has come from him, and the Shadowkeepers now believe that he perished in his hunt for the Chalice. Now the next ones have zero description besides their names, but the lack of information never has stopped us from speculating, so we might as well do that a bit. There is an entity in the Dark Cells called the Eater of Gods. Now the question is, which gods? Gods might be meant in a metaphorical sense.
Gods.
It could even be a device or a relic. For what we know, it can be used to end something powerful. And the rest of the speculation, well, I will leave that up to you. Another one, without description, is the Unmaker of Thrones, which I believe could be tied to the Doomsday scenario where the Golden Throne has to go. I understand there is the Talisman of Seven Hammers, but this could be a similar device, yet with a different purpose. But once again, at this point, I'm just making things up because I have no clue. Then there is Lament of Unreason, of which I didn't find anything at all, and I have zero clues what it could possibly be. But there is an entity called the Serpent of Ending. Now, it does not have a description, but this time I believe I'm onto something. Serpent of Ending, first thing that comes to mind, at least for me, is Norse mythology and Ragnarok. But then I started to think about where we have serpents in Warhammer 40,000 lore, and believe or not, but Eldar worship a serpent deity, a really special one in fact, that exists within Immaterium and the real space.
Really?
Dromlak, the cosmic serpent, appears in countless mythologies, creation stories and folk
Never
legends
heard of it.
across different species, including the native Balite religion. Many cultures use Dromlak as a metaphor for death, a symbol of the transition from one state of being to the next. It's said that Dromlak was born from belief itself, an entity that exists entirely outside the boundaries of time and space. It is said that this entity embodies the webway itself. Maybe it has been imprisoned somehow by the Emperor. Who knows?
Embodies the webway.
The Dark Cells are a reminder that galaxy is full of things too dangerous, corrupt, or incomprehensible to destroy outright. Instead, they are buried beneath the Imperial Palace and watched over by the Shadow Keepers, who have the unenviable job of making sure nothing gets out. If something does escape, it's probably time to update your will and start praying, assuming there's still time for either.
That's why I don't understand, like, why keep stuff like that on Terra, you know? And especially under the Imperial Palace in general, if things are, like, that dangerous, that powerful, that, you know, if that, you know, Nurgle plague device could spread some sort of disease, it's like, that's really not something you want on your planet, you know? Or under the Imperial Palace, if heavens forbid something like that gets out, or, you know, something goes wrong, you know, you'd want to, like, stick that, like, on another planet, you know, just I don't know, a dead planet, a uninhabited planet, you know, build up this giant prison, you know, and then just send everything there, keep everything there, you know, so if something does go wrong, you know, if that Nurgle thing ever somehow gets out and goes off or whatever, you know, the plague is contained to that planet there that, you know, is uninhabited, so you don't have to worry about anything else. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd really want, like, all this dangerous, powerful, crazy stuff, you know, just on the home planet, you know? I don't know. I mean, yes, you do have, you know, the custodians guarding it, but still, you know, you had that other, what was it, the wandering, the slithering thing that escaped. I mean, so, just saying.
What if Subject 11, locked away in the darkest pits beneath the Imperial Palace, is actually the 11th Primarch? You know,
see, that's what I've been
one
hearing.
of the lost two Primarchs the Imperium pretends never existed. The thought itself is both terrifying and oddly fascinating. The Emperor, after all, never did anything without a good reason, or at least one he thought was good. What we know of this Primarch is that he was purged, but maybe by purging it was meant as him being erased from all Imperial records and even memories of others. If the Emperor decided one of his own genetically engineered demigods needed to disappear, maybe it wasn't enough to just erase them from history. Maybe this one was too dangerous to destroy outright, too stubborn to kill, or too valuable to simply throw away. The Primarchs were built to be unstoppable, living weapons of war with minds sharp enough to outwit entire civilizations. Now imagine one of them going rogue in a way that no amount of loyalty programming or fatherly lectures could fix. Maybe the 11th didn't just rebel against the Emperor. Maybe they did something so horrifying, so catastrophically bad.
Now see, that's what I don't understand. Like, what could they have done that was so bad that they are just completely erased from existence? Nobody knows about them. Well, I mean, nobody, you know, they know about them, but they don't know, like, details. You know, just completely expunged, erased from history. You know, can't talk about them. Even the Chaos Gods don't even, like, say anything, which is kind of, like, very strange. Like, I'm sure the Chaos Gods must know about them. So why don't they ever say anything about them? You know, that'd be kind of, I don't know, that'd be kind of, like, useful propaganda. Like, you know, hey, why don't you, you know, hey, other Primarchs, you know, come join us, you know, join your brothers, and you know, your father's not all that great anyways, you know. He screwed up, you know, twice already, you know, creating you, and, you know, I think it'd just be interesting propaganda. And then, of course, well, everybody knows what happened to Horus, so what on earth could be worse than basically taking half your brothers and starting a massive civil war against your father and all of the Imperium, and causing unknown, like, trillions of deaths, and how many planets got destroyed and stuff like that? What could those two have done that's worse than that? You know, what is worse than you know, how many hundreds of years, you know, civil war, you know, with half your brothers turning traitor, you know? Like, this is probably why they keep it. This is probably why Games Workshop will never do anything with them, because what can you do that is so... What lore can you come up with? I don't think it's, like, you know, a creation of what they look like and stuff like that. I'm sure, you know, some pretty badass fan arts and stuff like that, but it's just what story do you come up with that's, you know, oh my god, that is so bad. Yeah, good thing, you know, those guys were erased and locked away. You know, it's just, there's really nothing you can come up with. Like, what can you do? Oh, we joined a Xenos race, or, you know, we felt sympathy for a Xenos race. Like, okay, like, yeah, that's, like, not good, but, like, Horus just, you know, caused trillions of lives, and, you know, multiple planets, like, completely destroyed, you know, during his civil war, and you just felt sympathy for a Xenos race, you know, or you joined a Xenos race. Like, okay, you know, but
that the Emperor couldn't even spin it into propaganda. Murdered entire star systems for fun, fell too deep into the warp, started a cult that made Horus Heresy look like a toddler's tantrum. Whatever it was bad enough that the Emperor didn't just disband his legion, he also had to lock their Primarch in a cell and throw away the key. Now, why the Dark Cells? Simple. Where else do you keep something too dangerous for death? The Custodes don't guard these vaults for nothing.
Exactly.
If Subject 11 is the 11th Primarch, that cell isn't just reinforced steel and psychic wards. It's a fortress designed to contain a being too powerful for their own good. And yet, maybe the Emperor thought he might need his lost son again one day. After all, the guy could see the future, or at least glimpses of it. And maybe he saw some galaxy-ending problem only Subject 11 could fix. Maybe that's why the Primarch wasn't killed, but tucked away instead, like a weapon too dangerous to wield, but too useful to discard.
Kind of like a break in case of emergency type of thing, possibly.
Of course, considering the Imperium hasn't exactly been sending birthday cards down to the Dark Cells, whatever's in there probably isn't feeling too loyal anymore. If it ever gets out, let's just say it won't be lining up to kiss Gilliman's ring. Also, it is widely believed that the 11th Primarch was in some way damaged. Maybe he was put in the dark cells until a more peaceful time, when the Emperor could finally heal his son because he could have been potentially very useful. We know that he was discovered in the year 927 and 30,
wasn't it
and the
Emperor's
same
gonna
year
help,
that Alpha Legion
with
was
the
dispatched
butcher's
to
nails?
fight off the Xeno species called Cryptosi in the northern reaches of the Imperium. These metadimensional Xenos came into conflict with the Imperium after attacking several of its colony worlds. Of course, details about the conflict are missing from records, and the worlds that Alpha Legion attacked went dark. So, can these two events be connected? It is definitely possible. Even more so, these Xenos could be the reason for the purge of the 11th. So, could the subject 11 be the 11th Primarch? It fits.
Maybe.
The secrecy, the danger, the refusal to
I think it would be
outright
kinda
destroy
cool if
whatever
it
it
is
is.
one of
It
them.
all screams exactly that.
You know,
and
one of the lost
honestly,
Primarchs
if the
got
Emperor
completely
did
eradicated,
lock
but
one
the
of
other
his
one
missing sons in a box,
saved.
it's probably best that the doors stay shut. Because if Subject 11 gets loose, the galaxy might find out why the Emperor kept this specific skeleton buried, and it won't be pretty. If you enjoyed the video, then leave a like and subscribe to my channel with the notifications on so you wouldn't miss my latest upload, and help me reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Also, remember to follow my Spotify and Twitch, as per usual.
Okay, so there we go. What's inside the dark cells? So, like, a lot of stuff is down there. Very vague, you know. All sorts of, like, different demons and stuff like that. The demons that they have to go through, the custodians have to go through all the trials for and stuff like that. So just as I thought, you know, I had to fight, like, a bloodletter with no weapons and armor. Inhaling, you know, breathing in Nurgle's aroma. I didn't know for 3 hours. Oof, that's insane. Not giving in to Slanesh's temptations, having a staring contest for an entire day with Tzeentch. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty insane. But yeah, all that to be a guard in the dark cells. I mean, which would be kind of cool-ish. Oh, I don't know if I'd want to be one of those because you're just confined to just the dark cells and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, you'd be guarding some, like, very horrific stuff, you know? But still, you know, you're just in a prison, like, all day. I don't know. And then, of course, you had that, you know, the one that did escape, so that's pretty crazy. Although it didn't last very long. Got hunted down and killed, so it's the end of that thing. But yeah, just a lot of vague stuff, some stuff from Dark Age of technology, like some Nurgle weapons, some greater demons, but it's just like, I wonder what makes these ones, like, worse than, like, everything else, you know? Because, like, what was he talking about? He was talking about this demon, right?
Surprised if somehow the Emperor got his hands on one. Another entity which resides within the dark cells is called the One of the Fell. Word fell often refers to something corrupted, destructive, and prone to ruin your day. This might be a demon of particular power, or a mortal whose dabbling in chaos turned them into something far worse. Either way.
So, I mean, I wonder what makes it, like, so much worse. Like, even if it is, like, a demon like this thing here, which actually looks really badass and stuff like that. I kind of like the open thing where the tongue just, like, rests right down there. That's pretty creepy. But yeah, it's just like, what does this, like, make, you know, why is this thing worse than, like, Kabanda, you know, and or any other famous named greater demon and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, just a lot of vague stuff, probably another Catan shard and stuff like that. That chalice, yeah, I wonder whatever happened to that chalice, you know, because, yeah, they fled and that was the end of it. No word since, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, just a lot of very interesting, mysterious stuff. You know, is it Primarch 11? You know, down there? Is it there for in case of emergencies? If it saw the future for something, like you said in the video, and only it can stop it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would be kind of cool if they did ever explain more of it, or maybe even something new goes into the dark cells. That'd be kind of cool, because when's the last time something was placed in the dark cells, you know? Because I think that'd be kind of cool if it's been a while since something new got added to the dark cells. That'd be pretty cool if something else did get added to the dark cells. You know, a new, I don't know, a new item, a new demon, a new monster, a new creature, just something new. That'd be pretty cool. It'd be interesting to see what Trazen would would say or do if he, you know, got a little tour of the dark cells. You know, that'd be pretty interesting. Makes you wonder, would he be a better... He's probably got better technology and stuff like that to house all these things, you know? But yeah, it would be interesting, you know? I think it'd be kind of cool if one day they did explore more, but I mean, I have no idea what's happening right now in the lore and stuff like that. The lore is just kind of like, I don't know, you know, last it was like Vashtor attacking the Rock, the Lion and Angron fighting, and now like Fulgrim's back. I don't know what else is going on. Like, what happened to Vashtor? Is he's still got to be like floating around there somewhere? Like, what's he doing? Is he still doing something, or is he just like regrouping, or like what's happening? You know. And then I wonder if one day we ever will learn about the Lost Primarchs with the way they're bringing back all these different Primarchs and stuff like that. You know, do you think at the end, if all or whichever ones can come back will, you know, come back? Like, obviously, you know, Sanguinius is dead, you know, so he's probably not ever going to come back, unless they do some sort of who knows what, you know. Same thing with Horus, you know, he's definitely not coming back. But like, you know, the ones that, you know, are confirmed alive, or the ones that are, you know, there's a chance they're still alive, you know, if they all come back. Yeah, you know, would they go there? Would they go Lost Primarchs or not? But then again, like I was saying, I don't think it's like the artwork and stuff like that of what they can look like. It's just, what story do you give them? That's like the hardest thing. Like, oh, look at what they did. That was so bad that they had to be locked away and banished and eradicated and all this stuff. It's like, I don't think it was really that bad, you know. Horus turned half his brother's traitor against the Emperor, you know. This guy just kind of joined a Xenos race or whatever, you know, and that just seems like whatever story they come up with just won't be good enough. So, who knows? We'll have to just wait and see, you know. Who knows with the way how fast Primarchs are returning and stuff like that. Yeah, only a matter of time. But yeah, it was very interesting to learn about the dark cells and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool if, I don't know, some new mysterious item or something like that, or a creature or something like that, was just added to the dark cells, you know. But anyways, there we go. That's what's inside the dark cells beneath the Imperial Palace. So pretty much very vague stuff, so, but it is what it is. So anyways, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links in the description box below. And, of course, leave me all your thoughts and comments. What do you guys think about the Dark Cells? What do you think? Do you have any more details and stuff like that? What could be down there? Do you think Subject 11 is the 11th Primarch? Yeah, just... you know, just leave me all your thoughts and comments. And of course, if there's any videos you guys want me to check out, let me know. Leave a link or comment or something like that down below in the comment section, and I'd be happy to do a video on it. So other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.